I think it's like an understanding of what freedom really is. Or just like, yeah, it's a real understanding of freedom. Or it's a way of living that acknowledges what freedom is. And that's an important part, like acknowledgement, because that really seems to make the difference, like, and the difference between like this world and the ideal that so many are like waiting to achieve is primarily, I think, acknowledgement, and on a collective level. And I think that we would attain the collective acknowledgement and the difference, like that we would attain that different world when we get to a place where we all collectively acknowledge what sovereignty is, and that it's a right amongst everyone. You know, if you have peaceful people, you have a peaceful world. I think it's pretty simple, essentially. Right now, we're mostly in an individual stage. A lot of people are making the transition individually without the help of a group or some sort of external vice or whatever. And I think that's the way that we need to do it, and the way that it needs to happen in order for it to become a collective influence. And I think that's the only way that it'll happen that way. We need to understand ourselves individually, and we need to do it in a way that we trust. Like, we need to be able to trust our own judgment and own selves, and respect ourselves and respect others by doing that, you know. But we need to make it by ourselves first, you know. If you're not comfortable by yourself, you're not comfortable with anything. Anyone, many people, I don't know, that could be misinterpreted, but I think it's an individual thing and a collective thing, and what the thing is like just a knowing of how to respect what we call freedom. But most of the focus is what freedom is, and what life is, and what knowledge is, and what this breath through everything is, you know. Life, love, knowledge, consciousness, awareness, information, existence. It's like all synonymous, if you ask me. And I think our understanding of what that is really what's going to lead us into the next phase of human development, of a better world ultimately, because a better world comes from our acknowledgement of what freedom is. And I think that's what sovereignty is. It's an acknowledgement of that thing that is eternal, that thing that resides in our lives no matter where we look, all the time. You know, it's just ever present, and it's precisely presence, its existence, knowledge, consciousness, information, awareness, all the same thing. Nowadays, in recent years, it's like mostly on a personal scale. I think. But that's exactly, like I said, it's exactly what leads to the collective influence. There's no other way that we can get to the collective influence. I think it has to happen. Any change that we want to become a collective has to happen individually, if we want the change to last. If we want what is behind or motivating the change to last in our experience, it has to be something that comes from a place of the individual. In other words, people as individuals, as themselves, as us, can get advice from anybody or anyone, anything, anywhere. But at some point, like, we all need to choose to like live in that, and to believe in that, and to like finally, you know, make amends with our choices and our experience. a lot of us just live in conflict and dichotomy. But I don't think that's the way it has to be, you know. That might be one of the major differences. Dichotomy and unity. I feel like you just gotta ride it like a wave. You know, like once you're in it, it's just like, it's not really much thinking about it other than just doing it.
Yeah.
Like that's the way you think about it, you know. And that's really where I find, seems like where I find things make sense, is it's just the way that we can do something. And all that stuff that I was talking about, like, you know, that's been like a prime focus for me to like understand a lot of stuff, like, you know, the question of what sovereignty is, and but moreover what I think, you know, is like sovereignty, which is all those notions of what freedom is and stuff. I think that all plugs in, and it's all so intimately together. It's basically, it's one thing. The ultimate conclusion. But the simplicity of it is like, it's iterated in anything that we do, like everything that we do, you know. And the knowledge really comes through everything, and that's where I start to kind of more understand, in a new way for me, understand like how we already have the knowledge, like that we already carry this solution that we are seeking, you know. It's like embedded within us, and it comes out when we realize the nature of what it is that we always do. And it's the way I see it. And when we really start to like understand the level of grace that we all have the ability to achieve, then we know why, you know. And I think that's what it's about, like just being in that moment all the time, like, or knowing that moment in new ways, and really using that to like understand life in a new way. Because I think that's what really this whole bedizzle is about, is like knowing about life in a new way. And I think humanity will change, and it'll make that leap, and it'll go in that transition, and it'll be an incredible thing to witness and to be part of. But it's also a very simple thing, and in a way, I think it's very simple. And eventually it has to be simple, or else, you know, kind of tends not to work. But that's the way I think we'll make it. It's when we understand the universal elements, the things that always will remain. And there are things that always remain.